Hey there guys, it's Misty here. Welcome to my recipe video showing you how I made my beef and chorizo stuffed jalapenos. So I mentioned these in a vlog a couple of weeks ago, and I mentioned that I would go ahead and film it, and if they came out good, that I would post it. So here I am posting it. So I am starting out with a pound of ground beef. This is just ground chuck, 80-20. I am going to go ahead and brown this up and then drain it and put it aside. And after that, I'm going to add in a roll of chorizo. Now, this is pork chorizo. It's just one of those cacique rolls that you can get at Walmart. I don't remember how much it is, and I threw away the package before I could see. But if you've never made chorizo, it's really, really good, but it can be hard to tell when it's done. So the way that you know that it's done is when all of the fat has rendered out. And you'll see that here in just a second, that all of the fat came out. So you can just drain this and put it aside. And then we're going to, while this is happening, I'm working on the jalapenos, but in the video, I'm going to show you what I'm doing next. And I apologize for the weird angle of this. I tried to flip it as I was editing it, and it just looked even weirder. So I have 4 bags of jalapenos that I picked up at Aldi. I love to get jalapenos and my bacon from Aldi when I'm making something like this, because it's inexpensive, and I don't use my really nice expensive bacon for this. So Aldi all the way. So what I'm going to do is I am going to cut them up, clean them out, and then I'm going to put them all on this baking sheet. That's a half sheet pan we just picked up at a restaurant supply store a few years ago. And I am wearing gloves. I think I mentioned in a video once before that I made some jalapeno poppers probably 13 or 14 years ago now, and I didn't wear gloves and my hands were burned for a week. So now I have to put them on before I even look at a jalapeno. So I'm going to put on my gloves, and then I'm going to cut these jalapenos in half. You can leave the stems on. That's what I did. And then I'm going to use a spoon just to scrape out the insides. Now, if you are someone who can handle heat, leave them in if you want to. I cleaned them all out, and these jalapenos were so spicy. So spicy. I couldn't even finish them all. I had to take some to my therapist because I was like, there's no way I can eat them. They were so spicy for me. But they were so good. If my stomach would have handled it, I would have eaten more. And I'm going to make them again. I'm a glutton for punishment. What can I say? So you want to make sure that you keep your halves together, because we are going to be filling these and making them whole again. So instead of doing a half of a jalapeno, which you absolutely could, I did a whole one. So this recipe is a loose interpretation of some jalapenos that I got from the Flying Saucer. It's a restaurant here in the Dallas area, and they make these, and they are fantastic. They are so good, but it's $10 for a serving. So it's just a little bit cheaper for me to get these and make them on my own. Now, these were a little labor intensive for me. Again, I have dexterity issues and I have the myasthenia, so I have to take some rest in between these, and it took me a good 2 hours. But I don't think someone who's able-bodied would have such a hard time as I did. So I like to just keep a bowl on my work surface and go ahead and just scrape everything into the bowl, and then I just throw the bowl away later. That's how it's easiest for me. So once I get all my jalapenos prepped, I'm going to go ahead and combine my meats. So again, this is a pound of ground beef and then a roll of chorizo. This was way too much, and I'll show you that a little bit later. But before I do that, I'm going to add a couple of cups of cheese. When I make these again, I'm going to half this beef mixture, and I'm going to add more cheese, because while they were very, very, very good, I like my jalapenos to have a little bit more cheese in them, and so these weren't as cheesy as I would want them. So, but that's completely up to you. You can make it the exact same way that I did or not. That's, again, up to you. This is just a base recipe for you. So I added in 2 cups of finely shredded cheddar. Yes, I know that the shredded cheese is not always the best choice, but again, sometimes you have to do, number 1, what's in your budget constraints, or number 2, what's in your fiscal limitations. And shredding cheese is just not something that I can do, even if I do use the food processor. So I'm going to go ahead and put some gloves back on and mix this up. It's just easier to use your hands. Like, it's just so much easier. Plus, I wanted to break up some of those bigger pieces of ground beef that I wasn't able to break up while I was cooking it. Excuse me. So I'm just going to make sure that everything is well combined. I will say that this mixture is still a bit warm. It's not hot. It has set for a little bit, but you do want it to be a little bit warm so you can incorporate the cheese with the meat mixture. And again, you don't have to do this whatsoever. You could just do chorizo and cheese. You could just do ground beef and cheese. You could make taco meat and cheese. So however you want to do, the jalapeno is just a vessel for whatever you want to put inside of it. It's completely up to you. So now I'm going to taste this to see if it needs salt, and it did. So I went ahead and just sprinkled in a couple of pinches of salt, and that made it so much better. So the only thing that's really seasoning this meat mixture is the chorizo. So again, if you want to add onions or mushrooms or anything else that you want to, completely up to you. So I'm going to get this combined again, and then I'm going to bring in my bacon. And then my jalapenos.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So again, I just used the bacon from Aldi, and I'm just going to spread it out probably 4 or 5 slices at a time. This is just to give myself the ability to not have to touch everything while I'm going. It's just easier for me. But again, you do however it's easiest for you. So this bacon is actually pretty good quality for $3 a pound. I think it was $3 a pound, which is hella cheap for bacon. And I want to say, but don't quote me, that Aldi has gone organic. So I couldn't tell you though if this was nitrate free. I don't know. That's not something that I'm looking for right now. So just going to get these lined up, and then we will move on to stuffing the jalapenos. So let me show you how I am going to do these. I have my one whole jalapeno, which is 2 halves, and I'm going to just use my hands to stuff it. You can see a couple of clean spoons in the bowl, but it's just easier to do it by your hands. So I'm adding just a tiny bit to both sides, and then I'm going to put these together and wrap a piece of bacon around it, and it's just that simple. You can use a toothpick if you want to. I didn't find that I needed to do that, but yeah, so you just wrap it in bacon, then you put it on the bacon sheet, and then I'm going to put these in the refrigerator. I ended up putting these in there for about 4 hours. You wouldn't need to do it that long. I would say maybe an hour, hour and a half, just so that you can get them to where they are cool and everything on the inside is, together. And that way when you cook them, they're not as prone to leak or spread out. Leak. That's such a weird word, right? Right. So this is what they look like on the sheet pan. This made a ton of jalapenos, a lot of jalapenos. And then I actually had leftover bacon, and the little white crumbly bits you see are from cream cheese. I had some of those leftover pre-made jalapeno poppers, and there you saw how much meat mixture I had left. So I think that you can half that meat mixture depending on how many jalapenos you have. So I've sprayed a broiler pan with some cooking spray, and I am putting mine on there. Like I said, I love these things. They're so much fun. So much fun, but so much easier for me to cook with. That way all the fat drains to the bottom, etc. I did try frying a couple of these just like in a pan. That was a mistake. If you want to fry them, make sure you're like deep frying them in coconut oil or lard or something like that. It would just do better. So this is what they look like done. Like I said, they were so good. They were so good. But next time I would just go ahead and add more cheese, lessen the meat mixture a little bit. And that meat mixture was delicious in some eggs today. I froze the leftovers and put it in eggs today. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, or this actually just kind of how-to video. It's not necessarily a recipe, but I will see you soon. Bye for now.